In this special Saturday edition of Locked On Capitals, Alex Ovechkin signs a one-day soccer contract and scores a goal. Let's talk about that next on this edition of Locked On Capitals.
Locked On Capitals, your daily podcast on the Washington Capitals. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Well, hello and welcome into this special Saturday edition of Locked On Capitals. I'm so glad you decided to join me today. As always, this podcast is free and available on all the major platforms, and I want to thank you for making this your first listen or view of the day. Yes, this podcast is also available in video form, so head on over to YouTube and check that out. My name is Dan Holme. You can find me on Twitter. It's at DanCaps218. You can find the show on Twitter. It's at Locked On Caps. And, generally we don't do these shows on a Saturday or the weekend, but I thought this was some pretty big news. Alex Ovechkin, of course, the captain of the Washington Capitals, signs a one-day contract with the Moscow Dynamo soccer team, and he scores a goal. And he scores it from where he scores most all of his goals, his office, the left circle out there, or if there was a circle there. Washington Capitals captain Alex Ovechkin signed a one-day contract yesterday with the Dynamo Moscow to make his professional soccer debut in a friendly against Amkal, a talented team full of social media stars and bloggers. Ovechkin actually scored in the game, hitting the far corner of the net from the penalty area. A grinning Ovechkin celebrated with the same intensity and enthusiasm that he would normally have in a hockey game, jumping high into the air with both of his arms outstretched. Ovechkin's goal came in the 11th minute of the game. He kicked the goal in with his left foot. And this is Alex Ovechkin doing Alex Ovechkin things, which is obviously an awesome hockey player. He's going to be revered as one of the best of all time. And, when I saw this, that he signed that one-day contract, I didn't really think a whole lot about it. I thought it was kind of more of an honorary thing. But for Ovechkin to go out there and actually score a goal was most impressive. I saw the video, and I just saw this on my Twitter feed, is that Ovechkin was driving towards the net, and there was someone that was trying to cut him off and just pretty much slams the guy to the ground. It was most impressive to watch. So this really kind of just demonstrates the athleticism of Alex Ovechkin. He's not this one-dimensional, I can only play hockey player. He's actually a pretty good soccer player, as it turns out. Well, the dream came true to score a goal. Ovechkin said, per Google Translation, there was one more moment it was necessary to beat, but I tried to find Smolov. I must give credit that the guys found me in the position under that left leg. Well, I got it. Ovechkin was wearing the captain's armband for the Dynamo Moscow while he was out on the pitch. He later handed it off to Dania Foreman as he left the game, and that article was there in RMNB. And just a really kind of special moment for Alex Ovechkin. I know that this is a Capitals podcast, but he is the captain of our team, the Washington Capitals, and I thought, just a really great historic moment for Alex Ovechkin, as he's known and he beats all kinds of records in the NHL. But for him to go out there and play a sport that I don't think he's well known for was a big thing. In Washington hockey now, they write Washington Capitals captain Alex Ovechkin has begun his pursuit of another professional scoring record as he scored for the FC Dynamo Moscow in his first game with the top-tier club in a Russian Premier League, friendly against FC Amkal. And of course, his goal was scored in vintage Ovi fashion. The Great Eight was charging toward the net and standing in a spot quite similar to his office on a quick pass. Ovechkin blasted a quick one-touch shot very similar to his vintage one-timer past the goalkeeper. He broke out in celebration, making his debut one to remember, and it will be one to remember. And, as Alex Ovechkin is getting on in his career, he's breaking all kinds of milestones, as we know, in hockey. But this was a special moment for him playing soccer. This was him playing for his home team, and it has to be a real honor for him to make that kind of goal and to get a goal in that game. I don't think that anyone thought that he was going to get a goal. I think that a lot of people thought it was just going to be this honorary thing where he just went out there for a moment and then left. But I thought that was really cool that he went out there and actually got a goal. The grade 8 was charging toward the net and standing in a spot quite similar to his office. This marks the 781st goal that Ovechkin has scored between two professional sports leagues. He already has 780 goals to his name at the NHL level, which ranks first all time among European skaters and third all time in NHL history. Ovechkin passed Jaromir Jagr this past season, scoring his 767th goal in March. Ovechkin also holds the NHL all-time power play goal record with 285 power play goals, breaking that record this season. And, just like I say, most impressive what Alex Ovechkin is doing out there, just going out there and kind of breaking the mold in all kinds of different sports. So after the break here, we're going to continue to talk about this historic monumental day for Alex Ovechkin. But first, betonline.net is the number one source for all your betting needs and sports info. Find all of the latest sports developments, league reviews, and news, including this year's NHL playoffs and Major League Baseball. BetOnline is your continued source for all your sports wagering information, including live betting, esports, and scores. And BetOnline remains the best spot for all your sports scores, podcasts, and news this season. BetOnline.net is the fastest and easiest way to check out all your favorite sports and events, including MMA, boxing, and golf. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to learn more about the trends in action. Bet online, where the game starts. All right, so welcome back to this special Saturday edition of Locked On Capitals. And we're not talking about the Capitals, but we are talking about the captain of the Washington Capitals as he scores a goal in his game that he played for with the Dynamo. He signed a one-day contract with the team, and I find it most impressive. Looking at the NHL scoring race, Ovechkin is 20 goals away from 800, 22 goals from passing Gordie Howe, and 115 goals away from breaking Wayne Gretzky's record of 895. He must average 29 goals over the next 4 seasons to do so within the remainder of his contract. So, we all know that Alex Ovechkin is chasing Gordie Howe and he is chasing Wayne Gretzky, but this was something different. Like I say, I know that he is getting on in his career, and I know that this must mean a lot that he did this for his home country, but what a great accomplishment. And as we take a look at the many accomplishments and the many records that he's broke this past year, we'll talk about in Locked On Capitals through the summer here. This was one to remember. This was one that, like I say, when I heard about it on social media, I didn't give much thought to it. I thought, this is just kind of a joke almost. But as it turns out, he went out there and he scored a goal. And I know that it wasn't against the most elite out there, but with that being said, he was playing out there in a competitive fashion against these guys, and he ended up scoring a goal. So that is a really cool moment for him. And you take a look back on all the different accomplishments that he has scored and done. It's just another one to add to the record. Ultimately, the interesting thing when you look at athletes of this nature is it doesn't really matter what kind of sport it is. If you take a look at Tom Brady, for example, he played very well. Obviously, he is considered the greatest of all time as a quarterback, but also drew a lot of interest from his baseball playing. That goes with Michael Jordan, all kinds of different players. So it's kind of interesting to me that even these players, it's not their main sport. They still really excel at all sports. So I think that there's something to that where it's genetic almost that, you're just a good athlete. You take a look at LeBron James, and I remember when his kid was very young, surprise, surprise, he was really good at shooting a basketball. So, that's the thing out there is that, just like there's certain people that are smart out there and then their kids are smart, as it turns out, athletes sometimes are just good at all kinds of sports. They got lucky in that regard. And I think that that's evident in this case here. There was a funny video I saw online recently where Alex Ovechkin, that is, was playing golf, and he is not as good in golf, I've got to say, as he is in hockey, but he was able to finally hit the ball. He had 2 swings and a misses, or 2 strikes, if you will. So Alex Ovechkin definitely has to work on his golf game a little bit. But like I say, that was really impressive that he got a goal today. And he got it from his office. I think, in all regards, we'll look back on this and go, what kind of a cool moment in Alex Ovechkin history that he was able to get a goal in a game, and that's not his native sport. So just a really great moment. All right. Once again, thank you for joining me on this special Saturday edition of Locked On Capitals. Like I say, generally, we don't do these podcasts on a weekend, but I thought this was just a really special moment for Alex Ovechkin and the Washington Capitals as we got got to represent our captain, Alex Ovechkin, the captain of our team. So, once again, thank you for joining me on this edition of Locked On Capitals, and we'll talk to you next time.